Hey everybody, I'm JJ Johnson. You're watching Reality Survival. So I had a request from a viewer, I think it was Logic Bob, and he said, hey, you've been talking about bug out considerations and all that kind of stuff. I think it would be kind of cool if you could show a little bit on Google Earth and explain, the things you're talking about, what kind of with the visuals. So I will kind of try to do that in this video. I'm kind of new with this whole setup, so bear with me. So just to get you guys oriented, Cheyenne, Wyoming is right here. This is the Colorado and Wyoming state line. We've got Laramie right here. This little section of woods, anywhere where you see the green, that's trees. So notice all this barren area out here. Which is just not good for survival or for any kind of bug out or anything like that. So that's one national forest here. That's Medicine Bow National Forest. It's a part of it. And then this is the other part of Medicine Bow National Forest over here. They call this like the Snowy Range. So my plan for bug out, if I had to bug out, would be to start over in this one for maybe the first 2 or 3 days. And really that's just to see, hey, is this going to be a serious situation or is it going to kind of, level out? This is about 30 miles or so, 25, 30 miles from my place in Cheyenne. And so it's fairly easy access and, you could just kind of view it like a little weekend camping trip unless it was going to get serious. If it was going to get serious, then I would head up over here through Laramie, and then I would head over into the bigger area of National Forest over here by the Snowy Range and Medicine Bow Peak. Just a lot more resources over there. So I'm going to go in and show you a little bit about this first one, and then we'll go over here and look at some considerations on the second one. So if I, whoops. Didn't mean to do that. The Twin Mountain area is kind of the area that I initially kind of picked, and I'll talk a little bit about why I picked that real quick here. So if you'll notice, this is 210 Highway or Happy Jack Road, and this is I-80. And Medicine Bow National Forest kind of splits around 210 and comes up in around here. But this Twin Mountain area is kind of a hilly complex that's between these two roads. It's kind of set in the middle of the roads. So I feel like that area is probably going to give me a little better seclusion. There's a darker area up here that's maybe a little bit more denser forest. But you've kind of got this road, Happy Jack's curling up all around it, and I happen to know from just hanging out in the area a lot that this is a very utilized area of the park. So I kind of like this area down here a little bit better. So if I zoom in just a little bit more, I'll show you kind of some of the other considerations that I'm thinking about right away. Okay, we'll take a look at this here. Trying to keep the map so north is up. So what I like about this area is, as you can see, you've got some trails around the edges here. We've got Happy Jack over here, and we've got some other big trails down here. Now, this road here, 700B, has actually been closed off. And so it's gated off down here by the main road. And I like that, as I mentioned in the other video, because that, if I can get past that gate, then I can kind of come back here, and that's going to cut down the traffic that I have. The other thing is that it looks like the trail here actually kind of continues in and gets a little bit closer. So just for visual purposes, I've kind of made a line around this area here. And this was an area that I thought initially might be okay. After going out and seeing it, it's really not the ideal place. so it's probably not a place that I'm going to end up using, but it's not bad. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit more here. Now, I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see this very well on your monitor, but hopefully you can. And it's basically raised up around this area, and this area kind of sits lower. Now, for my particular situation, getting protection from the wind is one of the key considerations here. Tactically, being down in this area is not going to be the best, but I do have several escape routes kind of in the low areas. Basically, this is a series of peaks that sits right around here. And these walls here don't look very steep on Google Maps, but on the contour map that I ordered from the National Geological Survey, it actually is pretty steep. And I actually went up here, my boy and I went up and climbed up here, and this is very steep. So it is a very protected area, and there is some water down here, at least through parts of the year. I'm not sure if it's there year round or not, but there's a stream that I think runs down through here, if I remember correctly. So not a bad spot because it's pretty protected from the wind. It's got a lot of game and stuff in the area, and there is at least some water there as well. Now, it would be better if I could find something with some lakes or something along those lines, but this area is just a really arid area. So it's somewhat secluded, and I think that it would be decent. The real problem with this one is it's so steep getting into it that it'd be very difficult to get into just carrying all the gear, right? So even with just day packs and stuff, when we climbed up there, it was a heck of a climb. And what we did is, let me see if I can remember right. I think we came in through this trail here and then came up, up this way, up into it. And it was definitely, like I said, it was a good steep climb, and there was, it was a pretty long ways. So, it's not terrible. Let me go ahead and switch over and show you a better spot over in the other area that I had been looking at over in the Snowy Range. So, see if I can find it. Okay. So we're going to come down here. And basically the route that I would take coming into this would be, I would go through Laramie, and then I would head out Snowy Range Road through Centennial, and I would come through. This is a pretty well paved 2-lane highway. It's Road 130, and then I would be able to hop on to this secondary road, and that's just basically a 2-lane gravel kind of thing. And then let me see here. I get to where I can see. Okay, this is the area here. All right, so I've got this other, kind of bigger gravel road here, and then I've got these kind of tertiary trails coming down here. And what I like about this area is I've got several lakes in the area. Now, these are probably at least somewhat popular with the locals out of Centennial and stuff like that, but there's a lot of other lakes down here around the other area too. So I don't imagine they're going to get a ton of traffic. But these smaller trails like this would, they're probably ATV trails. Maybe, pickups can get down them and that kind of thing, at least hopefully. And kind of one of the areas that I really like here is just this really thick area right down inside of this area here. And what I need to verify more about this is the terrain, because Google Maps just doesn't do a great job with the terrain. But if you look throughout the area, this is a nice and thick area with really thick tree cover, and I think it's gonna work fairly well anyway. So if I scoot in here a little bit more, the other thing that it kind of affords me is, I'm kind of in between the two roads. And so if I feel like, there's traffic coming this way, then I could, potentially escape out this way, or vice versa. The other thing that you could do, just consideration, and this is obviously like a without rule of law situation, but, somewhere midways down these roads, you could set a series of trees down in the roads to keep anybody from coming down further into your area. So, I might block off the road here and then block off the road over here or something. And that way, kind of this area is not going to be really very accessible to people easily anyway. And if they're moving those things, then I'm probably going to be able to hear it, at least, have a better chance of hearing it and knowing that they're approaching and those kinds of things. It's going to kind of slow them down. So that's, some considerations there. A larger lake here, might be able to do some ice fishing on that in the wintertime. In the spring and summer, there's going to be tons of fish and stuff in these. These are pretty good sized lakes. But they've also got, some smaller, some smaller lakes. There's a smaller lake here. I think this probably is going to have water in it in the springtime. It just kind of depends, but looks like there may be a smaller lake down there. A couple of them right here, another one over here. So, the area just kind of offers some good resources. So let me go in a little bit closer here and see if we can tell anything else. We've got good tree cover. Looks kind of like you might be able to see a little bit of a slight ridge here. So if that's the case, since this is kind of northwest, this is the prevailing wind, the wind's going to come out of this corner blowing this way most of the time, then I might want to be like down around here on the back side of that ridge. That might offer the best protection there. So anyway, that's pretty much it. These aren't the actual places that I'm planning on going, just for OPSEC concerns and stuff like that. But these are just good examples, of places that may, potentially work out okay. And just kind of giving you a visual with what I'm talking about there. But it's kind of a catch-22, because you can't have the perfect tactical location and have the perfect place to protect you from the weather and all that kind of stuff. Some guys have pointed out in the comments that, it's nice to be able to be up on a hill so that you can see out, and that is true. But anytime that you're up like that in an environment like this, man, you're getting pummeled with the wind and the weather and all that kind of stuff. So you really have to kind of get down a little bit lower, because you got to survive first, right? And then you're kind of relying on the fact that you're in a remote area to hopefully help you with the tactics, and staying hidden and staying away from contact is kind of your first layer of defense. When it comes to tactics and people actually finding your camp and stuff, there's other things that you can do with perimeter alarms and different stuff like that. So that is a possibility that you could use to kind of give you a second layer of defense or whatever. But anyway, I'm just kind of rambling here. I just kind of wanted to throw this together for Bob, and kind of show him a little bit more of what I was talking about and all that kind of stuff in that last video. So hey guys, also my son started a channel on YouTube recently. He does Nerf videos, and some of the family members and us, we get involved in it. His channel name is The Nerfer, and so if you have kids that like Nerf videos, maybe you could ask them to subscribe. I know that's not the kind of thing that most of you guys are going to watch, but he asked me to give him a shout out, so I told him I would. Anyhow, Also, if you guys are subscribed to the channel and you haven't been getting the videos on a regular basis, there is a bell right down there. If you click that bell, it will give you a little notification box, and you can, follow the prompts on it, and it will kind of email you or notify you each time that I put a video up if you feel like you're not seeing them on a regular basis or something. But anyway, I would appreciate it if you do that. And I also appreciate it when you click the thumbs up button, when you share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And don't forget to live the 6 Ps. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe, guys.